All these years, we've all talked about living our lives, having fun, accomplishing our biggest goals, or just making each and every day count. Although the year 2020 wasn't at all what we expected for this event to happen. I most certainly know that everyone thought good deeds were going to go to them because it was the end of a decade, but instead we get a pandemic named COVID-19. COVID-19 is a virus disease. The CO stands for corona, the Vi stands for virus, the D stands for disease, and the 19 is the year when the virus started. The virus first took place in a city of China called Wuhan City and spread quickly worldwide. Its original source came from a market in Wuhan where they slaughtered animals and sold them to customers. Study says that the virus came from bats, but is also uncertain of any other animals that may or may not have been originated with COVID. The coronavirus was discovered around the months of November and December of 2019, and it was introduced to the US around January 2020. Here in Honolulu, Hawaii, our stay-at-home orders began on the 23rd of March, which was the first day of spring break. The coronavirus can be spreaded by respiratory droplets when a person coughs or sneezes on you within 5 feet apart and it lands in either of your eyes, mouth, or nose. People can still feel fine without knowing they have the virus and can be spreaded through conversations as well. Another way this virus can be transmitted is by touching a surface or a thing with the virus on it, then touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. According to my research from the World Health Organization, anyone of any age can be infected with the coronavirus, but older people and people with medical conditions are more vulnerable to the virus. People infected with COVID-19 go through mild to moderate respiratory disorders. Around the end of the summer season this year, my uncle, who is refraining his face from this documentary, got tested positive for coronavirus. He did not have any basic symptoms, so his case was more severe. A few days after being tested positive for COVID, he was rushed to the hospital because he was having a hard time breathing. He mentioned that being in the hospital was sad and boring because he wasn't able to be around or see his family, and that he also felt like he was going to die. He had to go through many stages of this process during hospitalization. He was on a treatment called remdesivir, and it is only for patients with severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, aka SARS-CoV-2, which is more worse than COVID-19. After the remdesivir treatment, he was put into the intubation process where the doctors insert a machine tube through his mouth into his vocal cords. As weeks passed by, he eventually got cleared from COVID, though he was still very ill. He was able to go back home to enjoy some time with his family. He just had to stay in a hospital bed and take his medication daily. To this day, he is still fighting from his recovery by being extremely ill, but he is getting better little by little every day. To protect ourselves and prevent ourselves and others from getting COVID, we all need to do our part by wearing our face masks, sanitizing and washing our hands often, and keeping a safe distance from others. With this virus going on, it has affected everyone's lives and also took a huge part of our lives away. Think of me as an example. I am currently a senior in high school. Me and the rest of the graduating class of 2021 has missed out the ending of our junior year, junior prom, summer vacation, homecoming, winter ball, events, on-campus learning, and who knows what more of us students will miss out on. The overview of cases worldwide is currently a total of 69.9 million cases, and they get higher every day. The average cases of COVID per day in Hawaii right now ranges from 80 to 150 cases. Our state really depends on hospitality and tourism, and before our traveling order was lifted, businesses weren't doing so well. Although when the traveling order was lifted, tourists or Hawaii residents coming back home had to stay home or at a certain address to self-quarantine themselves for 14 days.
14-day quarantine for everyone who will be arriving into our state, both visitors and returning residents.
If people traveling to Hawaii did not have an address or a place to stay in, they were not allowed to visit because most hotels were not open. According to my research from WebMD about the coronavirus testing, people say that it feels uncomfortable. When getting tested, they would stick a swab up both sides of your nose and move it around for about 10 seconds. The lab will determine if your test comes out positive or negative for COVID-19. Since everyone is not allowed to be in large gatherings, you must be wondering how people with jobs are doing. Well, let's take a look on an employed worker and an unemployed worker.
Hi, my name is Shadin De La Cruz. I work at Blazing Steaks, and during work, I always have to have mask on at all time. I also have to maintain how many customers are inside the store at a time to control social distancing in the workplace. Working during these times is really hard because there are many rules and guidelines that I have to follow to reduce the numbers of COVID-19.
Hi, my name is Lori, and I was asked a question, how is unemployment working out for me? Being laid off was really hard. I was out of work for about 3-4 months. I am so happy that I was able to get unemployment. Super grateful for the help that we got from the community, from everyone. So yeah, unemployment's been good.
Now you see how people with jobs are doing. Moving on to students' education. Us students are currently attending virtual classes. Here's how students are feeling about distance learning.
My name is Shanard Domingo, and personally, distance learning has had a negative impact on me. And I say that personally because I need teachers and other students physically around me just because it helps more.
Hi, I'm Adriana, and COVID did really affect me in different types of ways. And the bad thing about it is that I wasn't able to see my friends as much as I can. And for the good thing is that I've been doing good at school, especially during distance learning, and I was able to spend more time with my family.
Overall, with the coronavirus going on, the status of a vaccine is not yet determined. In my opinion, the virus may continue to the end of the year of 2021. This concludes my documentary.